And before we start the clock, I have an appetizer. I just want your quick reaction. What will you be doing September 18th, 2032? The Gophers have scheduled a game with the Alabama Crimson Tide, a home-and-home, 2032 and 2033. Get your tickets now, Ron Johnson.
Oh, man. Well, hopefully PJ Fleck's still here. I'll be 52 years old.
I'll be in the nursing home.
Who knows if we'll still be doing Gophers game day at that point. No idea what I'll be doing. But I mean, as an old school alumni guy, I'll probably be there with my Letterman jacket on or something, still trying to get on the sideline.
I think the broadcast rights exclusively on TikTok probably for that one. Or whatever the latest.
Probably by 2032, yeah. Who knows?
Saban will be 91.
Drone footage only.
Yep, no doubt.
Oh, yeah,
all right, let's get into
hopefully Saban will be gone for sure. I mean, never forget, Minnesota beat Alabama in a bowl game. So I think we're going to see that tide's going to turn when Saban walks away. It's going to go back. Not say back to that. They were good. They were in a bowl game. They won, I think, 8 or 9 games that year. But, yeah, that dominant recruiting might change a little bit if Saban's gone.
All right, Daily 3 for real. There are 4 rounds in the NBA playoffs. There are 4 rounds in the NFL playoffs when you include the wild card round. So, John Krawczynski, which team advances more rounds in this year's postseason, the Timberwolves or the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah, see, this is a tough one because it's easier to win in the NFL because you got to win 1 game. And in the NBA, you got to win 4 games. It's a series. And so you would think that it would be the Vikings would be the betting favorite just because of that, more than anything else. But I'll say this. I do trust this Timberwolves team to win at least a round in the playoffs more so than I trust the Vikings so far. Maybe they will earn my trust a little bit more as we go along here and as they kind of get into the meat of their schedule and play some tougher opponents. But I'm just not ready to say that this is a team that can go deep into the playoffs after the wins against the Cupcakes the last 3 weeks. And so I like what the Timberwolves have built. I think that they have the ability to match up differently with different teams in the postseason. And so I think there is a really, really good chance that they win at least 1 round for just the second time in the organization's entire history and advance. So I would put my money on the Timberwolves.
Yeah, so I'm a riddle person, so I'm reading this question. Would it count as 1 round if the Vikings get a bye and they don't have to play in the wild card? Does that count?
They got to be the 1 seed. But, I think that would count. So, that would count.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I forgot with 7 teams now, only 1 team gets the bye. Yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to go, you know what? Like, at this point right now, I feel like at 4-1, 5-1 after they beat the Dolphins. I feel like, and who knows what the Packers are going to do. The Packers now, I think, are in, not saying panic mode, but they definitely can see their shadow now, and they're starting to get a little bit temperamental. You can see Rodgers starting to get a little bit like, okay, come on now, let's get this together. If the Packers find a way to implode, then I think that the Vikings now are set early to play a decent, not say easy game, but an easier game as a 2 or 3 seed. And they can win the North. So I'm going to go with the Vikings just because, like what John said, winning 4 games in 1 series is tough. It is not easy to do. We don't know how many protesters are going to show up this year to help the Timberwolves out because last year they were undefeated in the protester games. So I'm going to go with the Vikings because of the 1 game. I think I'm just taking the odds. The 1 game win versus having to win 4. I got to go with the Vikings on that one.
You see, I got to fit in a Cousins jab here. I think I know Cousins, and I don't know if Cousins is a quarterback that can string together multiple playoff wins. I think he's got 1 in him. Whereas the Timberwolves have sort of this vague ceiling that might be really high. We don't know them as well yet. They might be really good. And I'm going with the unknown here and the Timberwolves. Which gives a point to John for his answer.
Rudy Gobert will try to shoot a 3 and lose the game.
We've got a kind of a fun overlap season here too, guys, and this leads me into my next question. Vikings 4-1. Wild, very highly regarded. Timberwolves, very highly regarded. John, I want you to power rank the entertainment value of those three teams heading into all of their seasons, or in the Vikings case, in progress.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm a huge NBA guy. I love to have fun with hockey fans and give them jabs and stuff. So let's just get that one out of the way. The Wild are third by a very distant margin. I know Kaprizov, we're all happy for him, and he's fun to watch and all that, but we're just going to put that one down at number 3. Obviously, this is a Vikings town that there's so many more fans who want to watch the Vikings and enjoy it, and they are 4-1 now. And let's face it, whether we know that they're really, really good or not, they're entertaining right now. These games are coming down to the wire. You're pulling your hair out, wondering if the Vikings are going to pull this out. That's entertaining. I think the Wolves are incredibly entertaining. I think Anthony Edwards, with his dunking over people, you have Cat hitting threes, you'll have Rudy Gobert blocking shots. I think they're going to win a lot of games. I think they are going to be incredibly entertaining. I am an NBA guy, so I personally will be more entertained by the Wolves and watching the Wolves. But I think in this town, the Vikings are the more entertaining product. They run the show, and so I'll give it Vikings 1, Wolves 2, Wild 3.
This is a tough one. I'm going to, so I agree with that. So this is the thing. Wild playoff hockey for me, because I got to go to my first ever hockey game. It was a playoff game, thanks to Todd Fredrickson, who reached out to me on Twitter after I made a comment on the power trip that I've never been to a hockey game. And the Wild extended their hand out and said, hey, come out on us. Like, check it out. You and your wife, date night. It was impromptu. It was great. Electric. The Wild won. So I'm torn because playoff hockey was actually super exciting. Like, I was actually I'm actually looking forward to finding a good game this season. I don't know if it's like a Sidney Crosby or Jason Zucker come back to town or what. Or I don't even know the schedule. They might even play the Penguins. But trying to find a good game. I don't even know if PK Subban still plays, but trying to find a good game to take my kids to. But from an entertainment standpoint, I agree with John. I'm going to put them third, but not by a wide margin. I'm just going to put them third. But I think they're tied with the Wild or the Wolves, as far as entertainment for this town, because it's a hockey town, and basketball to some people is blah. The only reason the Vikings, I'm going to put top 1, there's only 17 games, shorter season. Feels like basketball and hockey just ended and they're going again. It's every game matters in the NFL. Some of these games that should have been not exciting, like the Lions and the Bears, they made it exciting for no reason. So yeah, I got to go with the Vikings on that one.
You both go Vikings number 1. I was going to go Wolves number 1. I
good
think
for you, Sam. Good for you.
think that there's nothing more rewarding than when a team comes together for the first time and they've got these high expectations and all this talent. That's fun. That's fun stuff.
And they lose by 30, and then the town is like, why did we do this? He can't score.
Why did they lose 2 20-point leads in the playoffs? Man. No points on that because I needed someone to put Wolves number 1. So we go to our third Daily 3 question. Who is a coach? John, you've covered a lot of them. Ron, you've watched sports in this town for a long time. Who is a coach that you enjoyed covering or watching that you wish was still around in the Twin Cities that you would like back?
So my one of my favorite coaches that I've ever covered is Dwayne Casey for the Wolves. He was salt of the earth, was in an incredibly tough position. Held himself up with the most dignity that you could in a very difficult situation. And I've always had just a huge amount of respect for him. So in that regard, I've always wanted him back because I believe he deserves another chance here and to really get going and be in a better position to coach a team in an organization that's well run, that makes good decisions, that takes care of him. So I thought he got an unfair shake when he was here. But my answer will be for pure fun factor, Mike Tice. We would, when back in the day, he would take the media and we'd walk around the field after practice and he'd just unload his thoughts and just kind of off the record sharing, like really educating us on what he thought about things. He always, he was a fun-loving dude. You feel like you could have a beer with him at the bar just as easily as you could be in a press conference with him. And he treated everybody the same. Didn't take himself too seriously. Had a lot of fun doing it. And so a big goofball. And I enjoyed Mike Tice. So I'd like to have him back here.
So everybody, like when I'm young. I've been doing the media here only for about 9 years. So it's tough because I don't want Brewster back. I do I do miss the Brewster like presser comments because he would always say something that was so off the wall that like you'd be like, what are you talking about? Like nobody asked about the carpet. Like where are you going with this? He's like, yeah, I had to tell them how long the carpet or the grass should be this week. Like, what? Who cares about the measuring the grass length? Like, it's fake. It's not even real grass. What are you doing? It was outside though. To his credit, they did have outside real grass at one point. So I'm gonna go with like one. I didn't cover him, but I was here. Like Denny Green. Like I really enjoyed what him and Brian Billick put together with Tony Dungy. Like I wish like Mike Tomlin had stayed. Or Tony Dungy had took over for the Vikings, and that's why when Johnny K did the crown him, that's the first thing I remember is like, you want to crown him? We crown him. We let him off the hook.
There's who they thought we were.
Right, like that to me will forever be synonymous with like Denny Green. And a weird one too that I got to meet the people in the building at this time when I got to go coach with Tony Dungy. Offered me a job to come coach. And then Jim Caldwell did as well the next year after Tony retired. But meeting the staff of people that were around for the Jim Mora playoffs, like they were it's the funniest story to hear the front office gals and guys that were in there because his assistant still was Tony's assistant. And she literally said when they could hear it because they were all kind of standing to the side. When he started doing that, they all literally started packing. She said she pulled out a box. She was like, we're gone. She's like, there's no way we make it through next week. She said it was the most nerve-wracking, weirdest. Like she said, when he walked by, everybody was quiet. Like, what the hell just happened? And so meeting them and like, it was so funny. They were like, oh yeah. They were like, when he started yelling playoffs, like we were like, oh yeah, we're done. We're done. Like pack up. Let's get ready to go. Like the season's over. And then she said like, and the reason she was telling me that is because she had been with Tony for, I don't even know how many years at that point, like 10, 12, 15, I don't know, 10 years, I think. And she was just telling me like how different Tony Dungy was. And that's the only reason, like getting the inside scoop, even though he was my godfather, played for the Steelers with my dad. So I knew him as a person, but hearing like the same stories from his staff, like he was super nice. He would send people home, all that stuff. I wish he could have been, because I think Minnesota Nice and Tony Dungy went together. Like he would have been the perfect coach for the media here. He would have been the perfect coach for like this organization to take them to that next upper echelon. Yeah, that could have. I think Tony Dungy could have bought a Super Bowl to the Vikings. Like I truly believe like they should have found a way to get him from the Bucks before he went to the Colts or something, or once he was with the Colts, maybe make an offer he couldn't refuse at some point. I don't know, but yeah, that was mine.
Yeah, I think.
Sam, what about you?
The point. Well, I missed the candor of Richard Pitino. I understand why he was let go, but I loved covering Pitino. He was just one of the most like witty, funny guys to be around. And I've said this too on our other shows. I miss the grouchiness of Mike Zimmer. Like, I know he was just gone. And Ron, you said earlier, like, you want to put the era to bed. I miss him. I miss the grizzly, grouchy Zim who would just speak his mind. But Ron,
the Grouch was a fan favorite on Sesame Street. So,
yeah.
like some people find it endearing.
People enjoy that. You get the point for the Denny Green impression. So that puts us in a tie. Tie goes to the guest. John wins. John Krawczynski, our Daily 3 champion on October
John, what's your
11th,
outgoing message for the crowd? What's your anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I'm excited for a week from tomorrow, Timberwolves Open regular season. I think it's going to be a really fun season. I think they are going to win a lot of games. I think it's going to become a little bit more of a basketball town after so many years of them just being terrible and people ignoring them. And so I'm really looking forward to that. Oklahoma City Wednesday night, the 19th at Target Center, and get that thing going.